Welcome back to Improvision Entertainment. My name is Huntermun,
And I'm Captain Soja.
and this is Euro Truck Simulator 2 in episodes that are probably not going to upload until, I don't know, mid-2022 at the current upload rate. Let me double check the Garage Manager while we are currently paused. I've decided to try and do this at the beginning of ends of recordings. Oh, this garage only has 3 drivers in it. How much money do I have?
Their predictivity is 0.
I mean, they probably haven't gotten... Oh no, where is this garage? I think it's in Paris? No. There. Got it. Oh, because I think it was... I'm sorry, I have how much money? Oh, okay. Thought I had like 200,000, but I slept and I got 400,000. I'm like, well, I got 350,000. All right, cool. Now I need new drivers. Driver Manyaner. In fact, I believe I am purchasing. I need the recruitment agency, Hunterman. You haven't done this in a little while. I believe I am getting to the point where I'm hiring so many drivers that I'm having to buy bad drivers. Because I'm acquiring drivers so quickly now. I'm officially in the snowball of money. And my current plot, I don't know if I said it in the last recording session, is to make it so that I have access to basically, I'm looking ahead in the achievements, and there's a certain number of achievements that you have to pick up jobs in certain cities and then do missions from that city to another city, and then from that city to another city. There's one achievement called the Orient Express, and you're basically delivering back-to-back deliveries. But the problem is that, as I've already tried to do it way earlier in my experience playing this game, it's basically super impossible to get missions to populate when you need them to, so that you can do them back to back like that. There is a mod I could run which would allow me to basically make my own missions, but you know me, I try and not do anything funky when it comes to gathering the achievements. So I came up with another idea, which is, if I get the warehouse in the city in which I need to start traveling to do the mission, and I do that mission and the next mission isn't available, then if I have the warehouse in the next location, then I can fast travel to a previous location, fast travel back, be generating money, but not have done another mission in between, and basically cycle the list without doing another mission. Because the thing is, you have to do the missions consecutively, but it doesn't say anything about it took you 4 weeks to get the next mission. You just have to do it consecutively.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, that's a good way to do it.
Yep, that is my non-cheaty version, and also it'll give, drivers time to level up, me to get random cash. I will have to check the list. Paris was the first one I did that. It's whatever the route is of the Oriental Express, or whatever it's called. The train.
Yeah, probably Oriental Express, yeah. The one from the Agatha Christie book.
Indeed. I don't think I saw that movie. I heard it was pretty good. Like the new one that had I think it had Chris Hemsworth in it.
I'm trying to think if I think I saw the newest one. I know I saw a newer one. That was Death on the Nile. I saw a newer one of.
Dirty Jar Jam asks if I'm playing on PC. I am in fact playing currently in Windows. I have determined that I can transfer my save file between Windows and Mac, so next month when I do my big renovation and hopefully don't break my streaming process, I'm going to try and finally get everything onto the Mac like was always the plan, and take my save file with me. I hope that works. What's my GPU? I have a wait, it's not ATI anymore. What is it? Is it an AMD? I have a Vega 48, which is a beefy video card, but Streamlabs is a very inefficient program of inefficiency. Like, Streamlabs is over here talking like, I'm using 14.9% of CPU, and I'm like, then why are you dropping frames, bitch? I have an i9. The fuck is your problem?
I think at this point my processor is now my bottleneck.
I think that's probably true. You just got a beefy video card on the cheap, right? Molly is off work! Welcome, Molly!
No, I just paid retail for it.
Molly with the 0 travel time. She works from home. 0 travel time.
I'm about getting a job working at home again.
Man, just... It's so good if you can do it and like it lets you stick around family and stuff like that, like save on gas.
Yeah, my processor's i7. Yeah.
Of course, we're both just kind of like putting numbers out there because like you can have a slow i7. I don't know if you can have a slow i9 though.
Well, I mean, it's an older i7. It's the
I have a early 2019 iMac with an i9 in it.
3.6 gigahertz. So I mean, it's not bad.
Sounds about right.
I think I've got it tweaked up to.
I think it's got like 16 processors or something like that.
Yeah, it's old enough that I couldn't upgrade to the new version of Windows if I wanted.
Oh, actually, Dirty Job Jam, you were asking about like you were thinking about picking this game up. I want to be super clear. This game can almost run on a potato. Like you can knock this game's visual settings way down. I have a friend who is playing American Truck Simulator, which is like 3 years newer release, but running on the same engine, and he's running on like a dual core 2.7 gigahertz with like an Intel 9000 on chip video card, and it runs. So like don't freak out with the stats, and oppositely, I could make this game look super clear, and it would but this computer would absolutely handle the highest fidelity settings possible and has had them. But the problem is Streamlabs, inefficient program that I'm going to keep blaming, just starts choking on the girth of the video, even though it's like, I'm using like 30% of my CPU. Like right now, it just dinged at me. 5% of frames lost over the last 2 minutes. It says it's using 12% CPU right now. I'm like, bitch, please. You are full of lies. Because there's some invisible threshold, and I don't know where it is, like, that Streamlabs starts choking on it, even though it insists I'm not hitting the CPU very hard. Well, like, what are you hitting? The video card? You're not hitting the video card hard. Or at least you wouldn't be if it was, like... I know it's better if it's an NVIDIA, which is the part that's pissing me off, because if you have an NVIDIA, you just say use the NVIDIA codec, and as far as I can tell, what that results in is the gameplay video just being ka-chunked out into your recording from the same cache that's rendering the game the first time. So it's like no overhead. Oh, that's going to be running a red light. That's running a red light. That was not worth it. And then winging a bush. Alright, well, not a perfect run anymore, but, you know, took me an hour.
Get ready to turn left.
Oh man. But yeah, we can get people together though. Totally up for trying out that Phobia game. Like I saw a speed run of it on GameStone
GDQ?
Quit. Yeah. During their summer games. And it looked a lot of fun. I was like, how are you speedrunning this? Oh, you're just trying to figure out what the ghost is super fast. Okay.
Oh, oh, that's right. I did watch that. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yep.
And yeah, like, you know, as I've said many times,
You could talk to each other, and then, you know, if you get taken out, it just mutes your mic, basically. And I was like, okay, that's a cool way to do it.
yes, you can talk to other ghosts if other people are dead.
Yep, and you can still interact with the environment, you know, in ghost form. People can still ask questions, and you can, you know, throw a soda at somebody or something.
Yeah, which they added. That wasn't in the game when it originally launched. But yeah, you can move stuff in the environment because you are a ghost.
Yep.
And your task is unfinished, as best I can figure. That's how that works.
Yep.
Oh, quick aside to, like, ghosty type possession type things. 2 episodes of the new Quantum Leap are out, and it is not bad.
Oh yeah, I heard it was pretty good. I didn't know they were making one until I heard that it was already out.
Yeah, I basically had 2 thoughts about that before it came out, which was like, one, if you're gonna redo Quantum Leap,
I don't know. You want me to take it to bed?
Oh,
I gotta take kiddo to bed. I'll be back though.
Alright. Well, I've got the chat here. Anybody who hasn't done so yet, you can do so voting at the exclamation point vote in the chat for what games I'll currently be playing on stream. I want to officially welcome Molly to the recording session. Hello, Molly. This turn seems familiar.
At the roundabout.
Hey, look, a roundabout.
The second exit.
Oh, and Gaffer, who was here a few minutes ago. I don't know if they're still around.
Exit.
Things going any better than they have been in the past few days? Hope you're on an upward arc. Dirty Jar of Jam asks, have you played Far Cry 5 before? Yes. I have. Far Cry 5 is one of the few Far Crys I have not platinum, but I did do a lot in the game. I have finished the main story, and I believe it's out of the... here on stream, we have a 3-year rule about talking about spoilers for games and media and stuff that have come out. But I'm pretty sure Far Cry 5 came out in, like, 2018 or something like that, or earlier. So, yeah. I have played Far Cry 5. I had a decent time with it. Though, I will say, as Far Cry games go, I was very disappointed in the protagonist being a silent protagonist, considering we had Brody and AJ before them. And also the guy in Primal, who also talked. Bum-ba-dum. Item, Rosen Queen Company from Disgaea? It'll say above my head whatever is playing. I forget. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Why do you ask? If you go to the YouTube channel, exclamation point YouTube, there is a 100% completion run of Far Cry 3 Classic and Far Cry 6. Though technically speaking, I need to upload the very last video of 6. There requires some editing because my audio system screwed up, and I need to grab the video from another source for something. Because the main dialogue is missing from the last cutscene. And considering it's a black screen with white text for the last cutscene of the DLC, I should be clear. I need to re-edit it so that my dialogue is there and also the final video is there. But otherwise, a 100% completion of Far Cry 3 and its DLC and Far Cry 6 and its DLC. And my intention is probably someday to replay Far Cry 4 and 5. I do enjoy the Far Cry games, and Far Cry 6 was more Far Cry. I wish they had taken more I wish they'd gone a little bit more hot button with Far Cry 5 and its story and its characters. Like, a lot, because, you know, right-wing extremism and Christian nationalists' views are the biggest terror threat to the United States at the moment, and that's terror from within. And, like, I don't really feel like that came across. And it didn't help that the main character was not voiced. It really, really ended up taking me out of it. It wouldn't have been as big a deal if every game in the series before then had not previously established Far Cry 3 and its standalone extra game, Far Cry 4 and its standalone extra game, and then we got to Far Cry 5, and then suddenly the main character doesn't talk. Why not? I'm not expecting Rex Power Cult or anything like that, but like
At the roundabout.
having it so that
First
a character maybe would like voice that you could pick yourself as whatever American accent you were going for would be nice. But at least male and female accents would be excellent, and we didn't get any of that. And it really seems like if you were playing an American in an American city, you'd have dialogue. Like, one of the things I liked in Crysis 2 is that the main character gets wounded near the beginning of the game in such a way that they can no longer speak. And it's actually part of the plot that you are literally not just a silent protagonist, like you're not having dialogue, but you're literally not talking because you've been so wounded by the opening events of the game. Now the downside is they find kind of bullshit excuses before that event that wounds you happens at the start of the game, that you're already not talking before that happens. It would have been better to have briefly a voice actor and then have them lose their voice. But I still kind of like that it was part of the plot, that you were like kind of like a corpse being animated by this supersuit, sort of, is kind of what was happening. And that was pretty cool. I like that. And all you did was ask me about Far Cry 5, and I went off on a tangent, so there we are. Okay, that is a red viewpoint. I mean, a purple viewpoint. I've already done that one. Is that another slowdown up ahead? I think it is. Molly, if you can hear my voice, if you could put the YouTube link in the chat, that would be great. For people to be able to get to the Far Cry videos if they want. For anybody who's watching, it's !YouTube in the chat, though, if you are curious. I like Far Cry. It's unfortunate that I like a lot of Ubisoft games, because Ubisoft doesn't seem to like their games as much as I do. Or as much as I have. There's something a little soulless about the last, like, 3 Assassin's Creed games. I will say it feels like the Far Cry team is basically putting forward their best effort to meet corporate expectations while also pleasing fans, is what it seems like, and I'm okay with that. They're making a good effort, but I will say Far Cry 6's DLC, there's no good reasons to pick it up. Considering how much gameplay it takes to get the cutscenes that you might be interested in if you like the story of the other Far Cry games, and that the gameplay is not like Far Cry.
Go straight on.
It's more like generic first-person shooter. Please do not come over here. Please do not come over here. You came over here, and I asked you not to. I asked you nicely. Hey, Driver Molly with 2 L's. 3,000 euros. Oh, I think I might hear Captain Soja coming back. Do 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 do. Why are you slow so much?
Take the first exit now.
Um, I. Oh. Jam says, I think the Seed family were better villains than people give them credit for. The family isn't the problem as far as them being villains goes, I would say. It's the execution. So, I'm a big proponent, a big believer, that it's possible to do open world games and have integrated story into them. Like, I think Arkham City did it fine, but the way Arkham Knight did it so that you get yourself in Arkham Asylum style, like, set peaceful locations that you'd have to deal with as Batman while still having the open world exist outside in the world, like, I'm okay with that. But I think Far Cry 5's plot is multi-problemed. One of the main problems is when it's time for the plot to happen, sometimes you can't avoid it. When you've done enough to upset one of the 3 seed children, they send out guys to come get you, and no matter what you do, you automatically get sniped and tranked and brought to the next story mission that you have to do right then whether you want to or not. And I don't think that's good design, and it's not like more villainous, it's just more annoying. So I don't know if you're aware of that, but like when they send the groups of people after you to take you down and bring you back to their base so that they can have dialogue with you for you to have like an escape sequence or deal with their minions or whatever, that the shot that finishes you off and tranks you is unavoidable. It will happen no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. And that is a real problem in my book. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I'm not as much a fan anymore of the region bosses. I still wasn't super a fan of it in Far Cry 6. At least they had different bosses and different ways of the plot progressed at a different rate. But it really felt like everybody who was a boss character in Far Cry 5 progressed at the same rate. And you got to them by defeating the outposts and stuff like that. And then I think the last piece of the puzzle, before I go on, Jam, you have finished the game, and I'll just, before you answer that, I will just say generically, speeding violation, really? I'm too rich to care, though. I will say that they pushed the limit as far as, like, going over the top with the escalation of how the plot could go and how big it could go at the end, being vague about it, just because in case you haven't finished it. Even though the spoiler rule is 3 years, I still don't want to spoil if somebody is talking about a game that they're currently playing, for example. So if you haven't finished the game, I don't want to say. But basically, there is no reasonable way to continue the plot of Far Cry 5 unless we get closer to the plot of Far Cry 1. And that's kind of what I thought we were doing. I thought we were inching closer to Far Cry 1, because Far Cry 1 is the only game in the series that actually doesn't happen in the present day. It happens in the future for its time, which I think is another speeding violation? Weird. Which I think is 2034, 2035. And I thought that we were going to indicate that this went off in that direction. You have completed, but not Far Cry New Dawn? Okay. So, basically, oh, the other kind of issue is that there isn't the good ending for Far Cry 5 you get in the first 15 minutes of the game, but both of the endings are bad endings. The two endings you get at the end of the game. One of those endings goes directly into Far Cry New Dawn, which is the ending that doesn't count because it's a spin-off series. So we have to go with the other one. But no matter what you do, like, I'm trying to remember the endings of Far Cry 5. I think, yeah, in both endings, the main villain lives, which is kind of like the DLC for Far Cry 6 setup. And in Far Cry 6, like, I had to go back and watch the scene, but you technically never see Voss die in Far Cry 3. I'm talking about the DLC and just the generic setup. People should know that you play as Voss in one of the DLCs of Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6 falls into the 3-year rule. I will not be talking in depth about it. But basically, the only character who definitely dies in most Far Cry runs is the antagonist of Far Cry 4. Isn't the ending in the bunker the real ending in Far Cry 5? I don't... That's just it, because I guess technically... Alright, you know what? The real answer, Jam, is that we don't know. Because here's the deal. Real quick, hold on. 1 second. Let me double check my spoiler rule. Far Cry New Dawn release date 19th February 2000. Okay, so it's more than 3 years ago. Okay, Far Cry New Dawn is more than 3 years ago. So spoilers for Far Cry New Dawn. Okay, Far Cry New Dawn and Far Cry 5. The end of Far Cry 5 is... Both of the endings of Far Cry 5 are included in the ending of Far Cry New Dawn. Which means, technically speaking, that at this moment, what we know is that neither ending of Far Cry 5 is canonical. Because they both continue in the non-canonical spin-off of New Dawn. The nukes go off and you get to the bunker, and you get mind altered by Joseph Seed. Both of those things happen in the setup for Far Cry New Dawn. So by that logic, we don't know, like, because we never talk about nukes going off in America in Far Cry 6, which is the next canonical game in the series, we have to assume that if one of the two endings is canonical, it's the ending in which you decide not to go against Joseph Seed, and you take your friends away from the town, and then you kill them, and that's the canonical ending. So the answer to your question is no. Since the nukes go off in the bunker ending, and the bunker ending is clearly not represented in the events that we are aware of in Far Cry 6, I'm going to give you an 80% chance that the bunker ending is not the ending of Far Cry 5. But because of the way they set it up, gave themselves an extreme out. It's kind of the problem with, like, how Saints Row goes backwards before Saints Row 4. Like, it's really unclear how the endings are supposed to work. I guess I'll say. Jam says... But in Far Cry 4, it was mentioned that the main villain had nukes where Far Cry 5 is set, I think. To my understanding, I don't remember if that comes up in Far Cry 4, but there is a throwaway line that indicates that is the case in the DLC for Far Cry 6 that relates to Far Cry 4.
Straight on.
I don't remember if that was actually mentioned in Far Cry 4, but it is mentioned somewhere. But let me put it to you this way: do you really think that a few years later, in the course of Far Cry 6, we'd never mention that nukes went off in America? How antsy America would be if nukes went off, yada yada? Like, in Far Cry 6, I don't think that's spoilers. To the best of my knowledge, they never mention that any nukes went off in America.
Finding a new route.
And you'd think they would. You might be wrong. Well, you're kind of right, because like I said, we alluded to it in the Far Cry 6 DLC that focuses on Pagan Min after his death. So you're not super wrong. That is a thing, but the point being, I maintain, like, we have almost no idea what happens in Far Cry, like, happens as a result of Far Cry 5. We just go on to Far Cry 6. And, I will say, and this might also be spoilers for Far Cry 6, Willis, doesn't show up in Far Cry 6. And he would be the person most likely to reference, that something happened in America in Far Cry 5 with nukes. But he's not around, so it doesn't get mentioned.
I mean, it could be kind of like with Infamous, and it's a mix of the endings.
Ah, but Captain Soja, Infamous 1, both endings count.
Yes. Slightly differently.
No, they both count.
I thought they tweaked. So both endings count, but they tweaked the way they counted.
Turn right.
I mean, you always gotta tweak a little bit, but generally... Hold on. Damn it, you came back and I shifted wrong. Alright, in any event. It's not your fault. It's my inability. This is why I don't play Rocket League on stream much anymore, or at all, because I've gotten really good at Rocket League, but the moment I start having dialogue while playing Rocket League, like, just demonstrably worse playing. Just demonstrably worse. I turn into an average player. No, that's not fair. But, Rocket League is getting up there with, like Tetris, as far as, like, how confident I feel with how good I am at Rocket League. But having said that, so we're long past the spoilers for the... So, spoilers for the end of Infamous 1, guys. End of Infamous 1, if you take the bad ending, the bad ending is you turn into the villain of the game and you decide that you are so fucked up and that your life is so fucked up that you have to go back and fix everything. So you time travel back to the start of the game to fuck with your own life to try and turn you into a hero. And then the good ending of the game is you turn into a hero and you progress to the end of the game and you have a plot that finishes. So technically both endings count.
Yep, because you're both the protagonist and the antagonist of the game.
Yes. And that's pretty cool. Spoilers for I still would like to play Infamous The Evil Run on stream at some point, but I had to look up Far Cry New Dawn, but apparently it came out February 2019, so it's out of my 3-year window, so I was like, alright, I can talk about all the Far Cries now before 6.
That's okay. I started watching One Piece, so of course, you know, algorithms started giving me ads about One Piece, and I'm like, oh man, you're spoiling stuff that's going to happen soon in my watch through.
Man, I don't normally do the special place in hell, but, like, special place in hell for people who put spoilers in their thumbnails, fuck you. Just, you go to hell and you die.
Like the articles that announced Deadpool 3. I'm like, why did you put that in your article title? that ruined this whole thing I just watched. Ruined the reveal.
Yeah, I got it from like I got a whole bunch of suggested things about Deadpool 3 and I was like, "No, you're bullshit. It's way too early to be talking about Deadpool 3. What are we talking about?"
Well,
And
I
then one
thought
of them
with
was
Deadpool
posted
3,
by
it was
Ryan
the
Reynolds.
fact
I
that,
was like,
the
"Oh,
first-
Ryan Reynolds did a joke, obviously. Oh, I am not going the right way. Oh, I need to rest anyway. Accidentally
the problem was the first
serendipity."
article I saw about it, it's like, Ryan Reynolds announces Deadpool 3 featuring Wolverine, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I
because your
watched
initial
the
reaction is,
video, and
"Of
I'm
course he
like-
did. I bet he did it for the lulz." This
Yeah,
should be
I
the
watched
initial
video,
reaction.
And I was like, man, that's so expertly done.
Okay, we're only 35 minutes in, so this is going to be a longer recording because I'm not stopping here. Good old robots must be free. Can I get out of here by doing what I just did? Yeah, but I just made it harder on myself, really.
But yeah, like even the director for what was it, the Logan movie was like, no, I'm okay with him doing one more. That's all right. I'm like, oh. I was like, this is how we're gonna bring Deadpool over and mutants over.
The end of that trailer though, that picture at the end. I don't know why I'm doing like a spoiler thing because we're talking about. It's a trailer, guys. Spoilers, I think are a fair game for the first trailer.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna count this. This is the first trailer.
Turn right.
But I will say that that picture at the end of the trailer that is the Deadpool with the Jurassic Park style 3 slashes through it, and I'm just like, that's it. That's your poster. You don't need anything else.
Mm-mm.
You're good. You did it.
Right? It's like, no, that's perfect. I liked one of the comments I saw, because, of course I saw the ad on Facebook or whatever. And somebody was like, is this just an elaborate Aviation Gen commercial?
I don't get it.
Ryan Reynolds owns a company that makes Gen called Aviation Gen. And in the thing, he's pouring a whole bottle of Aviation Gen into
Oh,
a coffee cup. And they're like, was this just a big advertisement for Aviation Gen? And there's not actually a movie? I was like, that would be right up Ryan Reynolds' alley as well.
I don't know if anybody else noticed it was Hugh Jackman before he said anything, but I did. It's just like
I was like,
he walks by in the background. I was like, "That's Hugh
"Is that
Jackman.
you?"
We're about to do Hugh Jackman right now," and then we did. I was just like, "Yep, there you go. That's fine." But that movie is question mark. Like, release date is, I mean, that's phase 5 or
2 years
6.
out? Yeah. Yeah, it's 2024.
Man, I don't know how. Like, I think people. The thing about the Marvel things that keep happening is that Marvel is spacing their things out, so basically you only have to deal with one thing at a time. But like, if you don't keep up with them like weekly, then your ability to fall behind becomes exponential the longer you put off watching stuff.
The only thing I'm worried about is the Blade movie, because they've had their director leave just recently. Their main actor has basically said the movie is trash, and he's so disappointed he signed up for it. And I'm like, oh man, but Blade started the MCU.
I mean, the real trick is that Marvel Studios, for the most part, hits kind of like old school Blizzard before they became terrible company. Like they mostly don't put out the movies until they're at least, let's say, okay. I don't think any Marvel thing is below okay.
That's fair.
I think most of it is pretty good. And a couple of things are really great. But like what's? I mean, I think you didn't like WandaVision. You'd probably say that was okay. I'd say Thor 2 was okay.
I didn't finish WandaVision.
So you can't say it's okay. Is what you're saying.
That's true. It fell below okay for me. I just didn't care for it at all. I'm sure if I'd given it the full run through, I'd have been okay with it, but...
Yeah, I'm kind of having this thing about, like... it's mostly the female protagonist at this point. Like, I was really looking forward to WandaVision, and I had a really good time, especially because I love all those generations of old-school television. And, like, I really felt like that storytelling thing worked, especially because they did basically one decade, one episode, and it worked out.
Yeah.
But Ms. Marvel, I enjoyed greatly. But like She-Hulk, all I can think every time I watch an episode of She-Hulk is, why is this so short? And you know, that's an unfortunate complaint when your complaint is, God damn it, why isn't there more of this?
Yeah, She-Hulk has been good.
But every time She-Hulk episode comes to an end, except for like the last two, because I'd gotten used to them being short, like, except for like the last two episodes every time an episode ended, I was like, but where's the rest of it? Like,
Oh, and I haven't watched Hawkeye.
I liked Hawkeye.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty decent. And I haven't watched, because I'm slack, I haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier either, but I heard it was really good.
Yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was really good. Shoutouts to Baron Zemo. Sorry he wasn't announced for Thunderbolts. But let's see. Like, at this point, it's easier for me to name the Marvel things I haven't watched. I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I started watching it like
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I watched like the first 3 episodes of it, and something about it just didn't quite hook me. In the Joss Whedon sense, I thought it was like poor man's Buffy, and I already kind of thought Supernatural was poor man's adult Buffy is Supernatural, in my opinion.
So Supernatural started off as a Monster of the Week show, and then grew out of what it felt like it was supposed to be, and continued to be good.
Okay. Like Supernatural and Fringe are both shows I'm like, I'm gonna go back to those. Like, someday, I mean, especially because they're done, I can get back to them whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, Fringe definitely needed another season.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But let's see. So I haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I didn't see Iron Fist Season 2. I keep forgetting it exists.
Oh, that's right, it does, doesn't it?
I think it does.
Oh, I didn't watch The Punisher.
Oh, well, I fucking watched both seasons of The Punisher. Hell yes.
I heard it was amazing, but I just never got around to it.
The only trick you need to know about The Punisher is that you should watch the first half of the second season of Daredevil if you haven't. And
yeah, I've watched that.
And speaking of Daredevil, because I didn't watch Iron Fist, I forgot to watch Daredevil season 3, and I need to do that. Like, I need to get Daredevil season 3 under my belt.
Yeah, I need to finish season 3.
Especially considering how he ends in The Defenders. I'm like, I don't know what happens next. Oh crap. But
yeah, and I like that the was basically the unofficial word that they were bringing the actors back. And I was like, okay, good, because they got done wrong by Netflix.
oh man, I would love both more Punisher and both Luke Cage. Luke Cage was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Luke Cage was really good. I really enjoyed Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah, I love Jessica Jones also. Yeah, so pretty much of the Netflix shows, the only one I wasn't really into was Iron Fist, and I was only kind of not into the Defenders because they kind of DC'd it. They were clearly aiming to make the team up thing, and I'm like, I don't think Avengers was the plan for Marvel from the start. Like, Marvel got an amazing 10-year run out of their entire series with little planning. Attention to canon. There are not that many plot holes, not compared to, like, I don't know, Fox X-Men or some shit. Like, which, to be fair, I now have to watch and also haven't seen. Like, just I couldn't because X-Men 3. I just couldn't. And now I know that it's very likely some shit's going to be coming up, so I should probably just, like Transformers movies, maybe like drawing and just having them going so I can look up and be like, oh yeah, that thing is happening.
Oh, speaking of Transformers, have you watched the Netflix one?
There's a Netflix Transformers? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Is it a cartoon or a movie or?
It is a. Was it 4 miniseries?
Is it following
It
like
all go
Transformers
together?
Prime or something, or is it a totally new thing?
It is War for Cybertron, and then it's broken up to different things. But the last one is War for Cybertron Kingdom, where they go back and it's Beast Wars.
What?
Yeah, because it's all time shenanigans. It's
Oh, well, I mean, I'm sold. Time shenanigans.
yeah, it's a lot of. So you've seen the cartoon movie, right? For Gen 1.
Yes. Weird Al.
Okay.
Dare to be stupid. Yeah.
Dare to Be
Well,
Stupid, yeah.
that
And,
balloon just popped into existence. That was very distracting.
Yeah. Where Megatron becomes Galvatron, so he becomes basically a slave. So this is all tied back to Megatron trying to not become Galvatron. And
Which Megatron?
the one that turned into a gun.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Or into a tank, depending on the setting.
oh, I thought Jam had said some new stuff, but I was about to like prioritize the chat for a second, but no, that's the same old messages.
Yep. Yeah, like it's nice because they've got the time travel thing going. And you remember the episode where the Maximals and all found the Ark?
Yeah, and then they made it their base.
Yeah, so this is going with, well, what if they found the Ark when it crashed? And the Autobots were still awake. And then they go into...
Like they've been in isolation for hundreds of years, unable to leave the ship, or like what are we talking about?
No, like they literally just crashed, and they didn't go into stasis lock.
Oh, that would complicate things.
Yes, and then they mention stuff from Beast Wars, with the Nemesis and everything. And it's like, ooh, you need to explain this. Oh, but you're not going to explain this. Ooh, this is important stuff you're not letting them know about.
Okay, so let's stop right here. So this is Transformers War for Cybertron on Netflix, and it's
Yes.
since it's Netflix, it's all of it has dropped.
Yeah, it's all out now.
Okay, so you say it's 4 things that are miniseries. So how long are they?
6 or 8 episodes each.
That's a little long for me to try and squeeze in any this week, but I am intrigued.
Well, I mean, each series is its own arc, and then they have something happen, and then there's a new arc that starts. But if you know the stuff from, like, the original, you'll see a lot of tie-ins and go, but that's not how that was supposed to happen.
Well, I don't really, man. I only watched the original Transformers when they were like originally airing, and only when I was homesick from school. So.
And then, again, by knowing stuff that's happening in Beast Wars.
Now that I definitely know. I've watched Beast Wars
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah, it's a lot of, ooh, they're referencing blah thing.
Well,
It's
I do
oh,
like
but
most
they're
of Blah things.
shady referencing it, so other people won't know what's going on unless you know.
Commander Starscream of the Decepticon Alliance. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if that comes up, but it's one of those quotes I will always remember for Beast Wars because I can do that voice and nobody wants me to do that voice.
That's also true.
It's right up there. But Zero, why must I fight you? Oh man.
But yeah, definitely a worthwhile watch. And yeah, I just recently got Jess to watch The Witcher.
Yeah, I watched like the first 3 episodes of that with my mom, and I was like, I just don't believe in Henry Cavill as a actor at this point.
Really?
I don't think
He's
he,
doing a good job.
I don't think he was good Superman, and he might have been doing The Witcher good, but like if that is The Witcher's character, it makes me less interested to get into The Witcher things. I guess I'll say because he seemed very.
That is very much The Witcher's character.
Whereas I watched the first 2 episodes of the Cyberpunk
Okay,
Edge
now, to
Runners
be
thing.
fair, for
and-
The Witcher Season 1, the episodes are not chronological. There's a lot of time hopping back and forth. On
Really?
What's going on?
I only saw the
Yeah.
first like 3 episodes, but they seem chronological.
No, those were completely different time periods going on. Like, people were supposed to realize it, and they even made some pretty heavy-handed jokes about it in Season 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
The writers were like, oh, we really thought people would understand that we're doing time jumps here. And everyone's like, no, we had no clue. That
Yeah, I had
time
no
jump.
clue whatsoever.
Like, re-watching it, I'm like, oh, never mind, there's a reference letting you know it's a time jump. Ooh, yeah, I definitely did not get
I
that, 'cause I didn't
mean-
know this was supposed to be a time jump.
Now that you mention it, I feel like there was 1 or 2 points in the first couple of episodes where I remember. I remember. Oh, well, if I already got speeding violation, I guess I could just keep going. In the first few episodes where I remember saying something aloud to the effect of, like, when is this? Like, I remember.
Yes, there are multiple events that are happening. They're happening 1 to like 3 decades apart.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I would not have pursued. Like, but I remember thinking to myself, it really feels like a lot of time is either passing. I don't think I would have thought like back and forth jumps as far as like flashbacks or something. But I remember at some point saying something aloud to the effect of, "When is this happening? I don't understand."
Yeah, that was the problem with Season 1.
Oh.
Because if you don't know the setting, you don't understand that Witchers age in like half reverse dog years, for example.
Wait. Let me
Yeah.
try and math that. What is half reverse dog years? So they get
like-
younger, they start old and they get younger?
No, like they age a year for every like 14 years.
Keep right,
Oh.
then exit right.
And mages stop aging when they become a mage.
Exit right.
Okay.
So these characters all being like the same age in each of these scenes, it's like, yes, but they're decades apart. So any kind of magic user either ages ridiculously slow or not at all.
Oh, so to what I was just saying, did you see the Cyberpunk anime? I saw like the first 2 episodes of it.
I've watched the first, I think, 4 episodes.
It's so good that it made people go buy Cyberpunk.
Yes, it made me want to go play Cyberpunk.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Watching the first 2 episodes, I was like, I kind of want to play Cyberpunk now.
Yeah, I did the first 4 episodes, so I got 6 episodes left. Yeah, it caused a resurgence of the game. And I'm like, oh, now's probably a pretty okay time to pick it up. Most of the bugs are fixed.
I mean, to a lesser extent, I feel kind of the same way about like Star Trek Lower Decks. I'm like, if you've liked Star Trek at any point, Lower Decks is like, here is giving you personal fan props for having enjoyed Star Trek at some point, and also it
I need to watch,
might get you to watch more Star Trek.
Exit.
Yeah, I need to watch Brave New Worlds and their crossover episode, because I really want to see that crossover episode.
Well, the crossover episode I believe is supposed to be in season 2, but Brave New Worlds, or Strange New Worlds, I'm sorry, Strange New Worlds is
Yeah, Brave New Worlds. Yeah.
it's, you know, you gotta give them time to like percolate and stuff, but Strange New Worlds might honestly be the best Star Trek that has ever been. Like,
Yeah.
it's real good.
I'm really looking forward to the crossover, because I like that they interviewed the voice actors from Lower Decks, and they're like, so do you play yourselves? They're like, yes, we voice act ourselves. I'm like, oh my god, you're going to be cartoons? We're going to Who Framed Roger Rabbit this shit? Okay.
I mean, they could be on a holodeck, but it's not like the voice actors don't kind of look like the characters, so they could just be in costume.
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to see, but I'm like, are you just going to like...
I mean, Jerry
I wonder
O'Connell,
if
if he
they're
showed up, he'd have to dye his hair blonde to do Ransom, but other than that,
I'm like, are they going to like hop back and forth? Part of the episode will be cartoon, part will be live action.
oh man, I'm down for cartoon Pike's hair, whatever that looks like. Like,
Right? Oh my god. Like, Lower Decks is such a fan letter to Star Trek.
are you up to date? Because new
No,
episodes
not
are airing
actually.
right
I
now.
haven't seen- No, well, the previous season with the stuff with the ship was where I left off.
Previous season, the stuff with the ship, little vague.
It's within the 2 years, so I don't want to spoiler.
Let's
the
try and
arrest.
figure this out. We can
With
do.
the arrest. The arrest is where I.
Oh, okay. So that's the end of season 2. So you're at the end of season 2. So you've only missed the first 6 episodes of like season 3. So you're close. It's definitely spoilers as to what happens. But I got you, and we were vague. All right. So I will say something only. Well, first of all, I won't say if you don't want me to say anything about season 3 because you haven't seen it. But I was going to make a reference to something that is alluded to in the trailer for season 3, so it would technically be on the table.
What's that?
Today was a really good Deep Space Nine episode.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, that was in the trailer. But, like, the trailer makes you think that it's going to be, like, Family Guy style, like, throwaway gag like they have sometimes. No. No, it's a really fucking good episode, Deep Space Nine setting. Like, it's good. And
No, I didn't think it would be a throwaway because nothing feels like throwaway in Lower Decks. Even the throwaway stuff.
it's... Yeah, there's
Feels
something
like
about
so
Lower Decks
close.
where, like, even if it's kind of a throwaway, what we end up doing is we at least end up dropping some sentences near the end of the season about something that happened earlier, and you're like, oh, wait, that's right, you are canonical. It's just you don't harp on it.
Yeah, like the thing that felt the most throwaway was the statue of O'Brien.
I agree with that.
And I'm like, but that was such a fan letter moment for O'Brien.
Oh, man. Oh, and I gotta say, okay, so, speculative, so it's not spoilers, but modern Trek has made a lot of Benjamin Sisko references, like a lot. Like I think every show has. I'm trying to remember if it happened in Discovery. I think every show has made some sort of allusion to some of the events of how to Sisko, and I'm like, so
Not so much Cisco, but the Cisco.
yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, since we know that Picard is ending after season 3, do you think we'll get Star Trek Cisco? You think that's what we're alluding to all this time? Because it'd have
I
to
mean, it
be
could be, because
time
he's
shenanigans,
non-linear.
right? Yeah.
Because he's non-linear time now, so I'm like, ooh. And he said he would be back.
Yeah.
The question is whether or not they can get Avery to come back and redo the role, but I feel like they probably could, because, man,
Modern Trek overall, very good.
And then
DS9 is by far my favorite track.
Yeah, I think at this point I have to admit that that Deep Space Nine is, like, overall the best Star Trek. And I'm starting to have a different appreciation for Voyager. Like, I still kind of want to say it's my favorite, but I think it's selling me as, like, the building blocks of the characters and the setting and all the new aliens and, like, the whole premise.
They did a lot with it.
It falls apart in execution is the problem. Not having
Yeah.
the serialization of modern tech. Like, I have said at this point a couple of times that if any Trek was going to get an actual reboot, like you redo the series, I think Voyager would be the prime candidate and would benefit the most.
Yeah. The problem with Voyager is they had so much they wanted to do, and they did, that it didn't work. It smothered itself with all the stuff it wanted to do.
I think the honest truth is that there is one piece of corporate meddling that I'm aware of in Star Trek Voyager, and I think it sank the entire ship. And it's simply that they were like, no, all our Star Trek shows need to be at least a little bit different, so you can't serialize it like Deep Space Nine. Everything has to be episodic, you have to wrap it up at the end. And the problem is that the writers, you're coming off of Deep Space Nine, so they keep doing big things. They keep doing, like, epic things, but then they get back to, like, status quo at the end of the episode, and that's absolutely detrimental to the entire thing.
Oh, yeah. That's what killed it, was there was nothing mattered.
Here,
what happened, you knew it was going to wrap up at the end of the episode.
Yeah, with slight allotments for 7 of 9 got to progress as a character, the Doctor got to progress as a character, and B'Elanna and Paris got to, like, progress their relationship. But other than that, and Kes left.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the Year of Hell? We're way past the 3-year warning here on and I haven't gotten to talk about Star Trek in a lot. You remember the episode, the 2-parter, Year of Hell for Voyager?
Yeah, which was, felt, because I knew it was just going to wrap up at the end of it, I didn't care about what was going on.
You know what the original plan for Year of Hell was? It was going to literally be a Year of Hell. It was going to be an arc that lasted the entire season. And I don't know if they still would have wrapped it up with, and then we reset time and everything goes back to the way it was. Probably not, because you wouldn't want to waste a season like that. Nobody wants it.
The other problem was they had stuff happen, and then they had the 2 Voyagers, and then they killed it, and I'm like, oh, so everything bad that happened was obviously on the throwaway Voyager.
Oh, you mean my least favorite episode of possibly all of Star Trek is in Voyager, which I believe is called Demon Blood, the version of the ship that doesn't count. The obviously, like, a lot of people don't realize this watching stuff nowadays in Netflix and otherwise when things drop all in a clump. But when things on television used to air, I'm talking to the YouTubes and the Twitch on this, when stuff used to air on television, if you were going to put a one-off episode... A viewpoint? A viewpoint. Oh, I need to hit the viewpoint. Where is it? Okay. If you're going to have a one-off, unusually dark, super creepy episode, it was the week of Halloween. And that was Demon Blood. And the problem with Demon Blood is it is gut-wrenching until the end, in which everyone dies, and you find out it wasn't, and you find out for certain, well, you already kind of knew, that it wasn't the real crew, but as a result of it not being the real crew, unlike many episodes of Star Trek Voyager, it is the most time-wasting episode because it literally has no consequence at all.
What it really does, which is even worse than no consequence, it makes you go, oh, is that why all these things that happened that they don't talk about, was that just that crew that just literally died? Like, have we been watching 2 different sets of crews this whole time? I mean, it's like, how many of these episodes don't matter because it was that other crew that liquefied?
You know, I never really thought about it that way, but, like...
That's what it did to me, and I was like, man, I don't even care about this entire season, or almost anything that happened after that episode, where they were on the demon planet, because, oh, look, it doesn't actually matter anymore, because, you know...
Schonburn. I don't know Schonburn. It's a nice place, though.
I was like, oh, that must have been Twi'leks. He was on that ship. That's why we never talk about it.
Tuvix.
We had to kill him so hard, we killed the rest of the ship with him.
I mean, it's not Captain Archer doing a genocide, but it is like the worst thing that Janeway ever does, which is killing a crew member.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end the recording here because we're a little bit over an hour. If that's okay with you, Soja.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, this has been Euro Truck Simulator 2, presented by Improvision Entertainment. I've been Hunterman.
And I've been Captain Soja. You can tell it's me talking because of the green ring.
That's true. That's true. And we will see you in the future.